Welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, be the first one getting all the insight. Now, exciting Monday, this is the second video I'm gonna do today. Now, why? Because it's just being an announcement on the new changes, so it won't take long. Let's just jump in there and have a look into the detail, which I have spent a whole morning reading them all through. So if you go to eme.homeaffair.gov.au and scroll down, you may see that new section there. It's called Migration Strategy, announced right today on the 11th of December, and once you click on that, you should be able to land yourself into this page, and there is a very detailed stuff that you can actually have a read. It's about 99 pages, but a good thing about a subscriber in this channel is I'm gonna take it through with you and also tell you what are the important matter that you should really be mindful with. Okay, now let's jump in there and have a look. Now, this is the whole piece of the document. It's bulky. It's 99 pages. But the main thing is we wanted to check out what are the new commitments towards this new migration strategy 2024. And we know there's an overhaul and the migration intake is going to be cuts. Now, we will see how this will actually affect on the cuts, because there's a lot of new restrictions that will cause the number of migration just to drop dramatically in 2024. So let's jump into the first new commitment. So if you want to read through like how I do it, you basically use the find button and then find the phrases of new commitment, just like this one, because that's new commitment will actually bring you to the new stuff that it's gonna come up with. So let's jump into the first part. So first part, as you can see, it says target temporary skill migration to address skill needs to promote worker mobility. Well, didn't they already done that? So they've talked about the existing one that they raised the TISMIT from 53,900 to 70,000 and provide pathway for again, that's not the news anymore, 2 years towards the permanent residency. So there are some new stuff coming up. There's a skill in demand visa. What it is, we don't know. There's a new specialist skill pathway. We don't know what that is. We don't even know the core skill pathway to target the workforce need. Anyway, let's jump in there and have a read. So the first new commitment is develop a new skilled in demand visa with the full mobility pathway to permanent residence. So government will introduce a new 4-year temporary skilled worker visa. Well, wasn't that the same as the TSS visa? TSS visa is 4 years. Would they still utilize the same one with a new pathway? I don't know, because there's no detail there. Okay, so the current one is this medium and short term. Would they develop a skill in demand pathway? Perhaps a new visa will give workers more opportunity to move, employer to provide clear pathway with permanent residents, and those want to pursue them simpler and better. Well, yeah, in what way? No additional detail there, so we don't know. So I believe it would put on the, I don't know what are the so-called demand visa, for example, the aged care or education perhaps are the so-called demand visa. So and they're gonna, these demand visa, skills in demand visa, will replace a complex single employer sponsored temporary skill shortage visa, which business union agree is not fit. Really? Okay, anyway, so why don't we just go back to 457? That will probably fit for everybody. Anyhow, don't know about that one now. The next one is the next new commitment is development of specialist skill pathway to drive innovation and job creation. So government will create three target pathway within the skill in demand. So then we just, okay, within the skill in demand, there's got to be 3 pathways. Okay, adopting risk-based approach regulation recommended by Migration Review. The first pathway for the specialist skill pathway is highly skilled migrant with hugely beneficial to Australian national productivity, including those support critical sovereign capability, potential growth. I mean, doesn't that sound like what the global talent is offering? I'm not too sure how they're going to differentiate that from whatever that is. So pathway with a new streamlined approach, highly skilled specialists ensure Australia quickly, easily recruit top talent. Wouldn't that be the same? So they're focusing on the net zero economy, cyber specialist, software engineer. It sounds so familiar with, if you have gone through the global talent one. The specialist skill pathway will be available to the applicant who meets the general eligibility criteria, which is going to be in an occupation except trade workers, machinery operator, and driver and labor. Well, pretty sure, because they're going to be earning up to $135,000 per annum. Okay, so that's so-called the specialist skills threshold. That's even lower than what the global talents require. So that would mean you have to have a nominator, you have to have a job offer with that sort of detail in there. So specialist skill pathway will recognize a migrant entering through pathway with national needs. Anyway, and how would that actually work? That's in the skills in demand list, and that's for the first pathway. And the second one, develop a core skills pathway. Wow, there's so many pathways now. The second pathway is a new skill demand visa, is the core skill pathway. Most temporary skill migrant will come through a core skill pathway. So most of them, without including all the international student graduates, which is designed to bring all the skill employee Australia needs for the future, ensure that provide ourselves the goods and services that require. The core skill pathway will be available to applicant who meets the general eligibility criteria, and those occupation is on a new so-called core skill occupation list. So they're creating another occupation list. I thought they're gonna abolish all the occupation lists. Now creating a new core skill occupation list. Isn't that funny? Which relates to occupation identified by Job and Skill Australia. Yeah, all right, we heard that. Who will pay a salary or above TISMIT with the new system relevant average of market salary. So basically, a core skill occupation will be a general, international graduate who has received some sort of payload that's above 70,000. All right, so that's what it is for that one there. And government will further evaluate how to develop essential skill pathway. I'm not too sure how essential that's going to be, but there's not much of detail there, so we don't know about that part. Now, the next one is the legislative indexation of income threshold and maintain system integrity. So basically, I think it's a variable system, dynamic system, where they will, they will fit into the indexation where it counts. It doesn't have to go back to the parliament to change all the TISMIT again. So there will be a dynamic system that changes all the time. Now, the next one is take a coordinated evidence-based tripartite approach to define skill needs. So very vague, but basically it's saying that it will rely on Job Skill Australia. Okay, next one, streamline labor market testing. Now, we've gone through that one this morning. So basically no more workforce ads required, but you still need to put 2 ads with a period can be expanded from 4 to 6 months. So again, not much of differences there. The next one is establish a best practice service level agreement and processing time, and the modernized accreditation pathway better competent for talents. Now, government would help Australia to compete with global rates, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's saying that it's going to prioritize, make it a streamline, make it a quicker. Now, didn't they say that at the beginning, once they, got into the government? But it was still very slow, didn't it? There's a lot of delays. Okay. Next one, strengthening integrity and quality of international education. Now, this is the big one. Now, let's jump in there if you want to come to Australia to study. Now, they're going to increase the English level requirements. So, let's go in there. So, for the let's have a look. Okay, for the temporary visa holders, the requirement will be increasing from IELTS 6.0 to 6.5. For all the other international students, will increase from 5.5 to 6. The test score requires student undertake English language for any course before the main course study will remain at the IELTS 4.5 to 5. The test score for required undertaking university foundation will be at 5.5. So there's a little bit increase of the requirement there just to push everybody up. So a lot of people, if they don't meet that requirement, you cannot even get an offer in the future. Okay, so that's what it is. Now the next one is apply greater more targeted scrutiny to student visa applications. So basically removal of general temporary entrance test and replaced with a general student test, which I believe is not going to be too much of changes there. And there's recognized that the people graduate can actually access to the skill migration, and there's going to be 2 ministerial directions be implemented, one to support the decision, the other one is to prioritize. So they will be if you want to downgrade study and things like that, it would be highly rejectable in the future. Now what's this one? Okay, integrity for the student visa application. That we have gone through that one. Strengthening international education providers. So there will be scrutiny and more policy to enforce the school, the institution, to run it the way that the government wants. So remember, there's going to be 200 private institutions will be shut down by the government, and a lot more other stuff is coming. And restrict onshore visa hopping. So if you wanted to come to Australia with an international student offered by whatever institution, and then you want to change the course, it will be a hurdle. It will be hard in the future. So if you wanted to renew a student visa, there will be more scrutiny on that particular application in the future. So don't do that. They wanted to stop that. Okay. Now next one. Oops, where have I been? Now that one we talked about. A simplified temporary graduate visa. So the graduate visa, now there's a table there. Now this is huge. This is gonna change a lot of people. So they're gonna remove remember that 3,600 something courses. Now, didn't they just add that in? Now the new approach, they're gonna take that out because the new one, there's no longer there. Okay. And the new one, they're gonna shorten it. Okay, so bachelor degree you get 2 years, master 2 years, a master by research 3 years, PhD 3 years. So PhD used to have 4 years. They're gonna shorten it, but they're gonna add people who wanted to study. There's a second TGV, that's temporary graduate visa, for at 1 or 2 years study if you study in regional area, depending on the location. So there's two different designated regional area, but I won't go into that detail there. So a shorter one, that will really restrain a lot of people actually get employment. Now, they didn't even talk about diploma. So I'm not too sure how many years the diploma courses will get. As you can see, the major effect on this changes coming up will be the vet sector. Okay, so if you want to study vet sector, it's going to be hard. Now, age requirement, they're going to drop from age 50 down to 35. Now, that's a killer. Now, what about those researchers and PhD students? They a lot of them may be over 35. So the maximum eligible for TGV will be reduced to 35, repositioning the visa as a product early career professional who can contribute to the Australian economy over a long period of time. Now, just to ensure that we have gone through migration review report, this is migration strategy. Okay, it's not law yet. Whether or not I can do that, I'm not too sure. Because down to 35, a lot of PhD students will say, well, forget about that. I mean, once I graduate, I got nowhere to go, right? Because they're going to be 35 or 36 or 37, nowhere to go, and they're not going to come to Australia. Perhaps. Okay. No more 476 visa. Clearer processing time. Well, they need to make process time much clearer for not just for TGV but all the other visa application. Clear postgraduate visa pathway. So the work experience required for TSS and the future skill in demand visa, so it looks like that's going to be the new visa, will be changed to give TGV holder more opportunity to move on the skill visa. Proposed reform the point test. So we don't know the detail yet. That will be an exciting part. I'm not too sure with the shorter TGV will actually get you a better, perhaps they're going to change the whole point test system, right? Okay, now next one. Where are we? Tackling worker exploitation. Now this is hard one, but basically what they're gonna do, they're gonna have a public register on all the employer sponsors, so they can track you down and get all the, if you do something wrong, they won't do anything for you anymore. So you will be banned from sponsoring in the future. Plan migration over a long-term horizon, a better managed migration. So this is more of policy and administrative job that the government required to implement. Work in state and territory, yeah, sure. So that basically meant they haven't really worked with the state and territory good enough, and they got to establish formal role and job skill Australia. I thought they already done that. I'm not too sure why are they talking about this. So there's going to be a labor market analysis, defining new core skill occupation. So they might as well just, you know, delete the old skill occupation list and just put a new one. Wouldn't that be good? Because calling it whatever the name it is doesn't make any, you know, differences there. Job and skill Australia's role, identify new core skill. Well, sure, that's basically what they were intended to do anyway. Improve approach skill recognition assessment, better unlock potential migrant, launch enhanced outreach program, improve access to migration system. So this is all administrative. I'm gonna, you know, jump out of that one because that's not too much that we care about. So next one is the regional area. The designated visa process in regional Australia will have highest priority processing. Now there's not too much of a talking about this, but what's happening with the current one? The current one has been delayed so much. Get that sorted before you bring a new one. So this review regional migration setting will be informed of further consideration potential essential skill. We don't even know what essential skill pathway and how are the core skill occupation list. What about the specialist pathway and what's the other one? I can't remember. Didn't they say they're gonna simplify that? They basically bring in more pathway, didn't they? Okay. So as you can see, it says simplify migration, but they're introducing more pathway, and I'm confused now because there's no more much of detail in there. Now the final, last but not least, I'm gonna search global talent because there's a much of talking about global talent there. Okay, global talent program. They will be intended to attract migrants. Several submissions to the migration review pointed out the lack of transparency. Yes. So what are they going to do? Some of the global talent visa application are made in lieu of the attract visa product a high skilled worker in temporary programs. So they are gonna pull some of the partial of these people to the temporary program. So there's no more permanent residency anymore. I'm not too sure. I don't know how they're gonna differentiate. This will definitely differentiate between this one and also the specialist program, and the business innovation investment program. What are they gonna do? Okay, let's have a look. Furthermore, just 80% of the company director in business innovation and retail hospitality, which is a sector typically associated with major advancement of productivity. The migration review flagged the opportunity to draw relative strengths of significant investment stream, blah, 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 actions, explore a full reform point test, better identify migration. So again, there's a lot of concept there, but probably not much in detail. I think the most important thing that we have just come through this migration strategy is that the international student will be the major one has been hit. So the increase of the English language requirement for student visa and also for the 485 visa holders, and also the change on the 485 visa, dropping the age from 50 down to 35, which I think it's not the right thing because you're basically killing all the PhD researchers. A lot of them are about those kind of age, and if you study PhD, you usually take 4 years. So if you're at age of 31, basically, man, you won't get any 485 visa. right? So, not too sure. I don't know what you think about this. Why don't you leave a comment right down below? And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.